Hello everybody, welcome back to Learning Biology 15.2 Part 2. Okay, so this section we're going to focus on the function of the internal structure of the eyeball. Okay, so first of all, before moving on to talk about their function, I want you to look at this diagram and remember how are we going to talk about the functions. Okay, so first of all, there are actually 3 layers of our eyeball. Okay, at least look at here, and then you'll see that there are in total 3 layers. Okay, so very carefully, you can see that the outermost 最外邊嗰個 layer 嚟嘅。Okay, outermost layer, what is it? It will be the sclera. Okay, and then in the middle, that one will be your choroid. Good. And then lastly, what is it? That will be the innermost layer, and that is the retina. Okay? So you have seen this word retina earlier, okay, when we talk about the vitamin A. And we're going to talk about that very soon. So first one, we'll deal with these 3 structures first. Sclera, choroid, and retina. Let's get started. First one, sclera. Okay? So what is sclera? First one, it is the outermost layer, and it is very tough. 係好堅硬嘅. So why is it tough? You'll learn more about this when we dissect the cow's eye later. Okay? So it is very tough. Why is it tough? It can protect the internal structure. And another reason is to give you some shape. 俾一個形狀嚟嘅. Or we say here, maintain. 要識呢個字啦. That means 維持住啦. Okay? Also, it is a surface. It provides a surface for the attachment of eye muscles. How many pairs of eye muscles? 3. Okay? And then the next one, we move to point 3, choroid. So as you can see, this one is the middle layer. And what is the color of this choroid? 咩顏色啊? It is black in color. Why? Because there is a black pigment. This black pigment will help us absorb light, 係吸走啲光嘅. Therefore, what is the function? This one, please give it a star. Okay? This is important. It can reduce the reflection of light, 減少反光. Okay? So 2 words, be very, very careful. Okay? You'll see both later. One of them is called reflection. 呢個係反射. The other one is called refraction. 呢個係叫折射. Okay, so try to say these 2 words with me. Reflection and refraction. Okay, be careful. So this one is to prevent or reduce the reflection of light. Okay, therefore, because our eye detects light, 去感應光㗎嘛. Therefore, to reduce this reflection of light, we can form an image very clearly. We can form a sharp image. Or you can just say a clear image. Alright? Another very important point about this choroid is that it is rich in capillaries. Why do we need capillaries? Okay? Capillaries, that means 血管啦, or 微絲血管啦. Therefore, we can supply nutrients and oxygen. Okay? And then, how do I remember everything? 點樣記到啊? Where does this apply to? Retina and sclera. So do I need to recite everything? No. Why? Because we know that choroid is in the middle. So what is it connected to? It is connected to the sclera, and it is connected to the retina. Right? So therefore, it will provide nutrients and oxygen to the retina and sclera. Okay? The last one, we're going to talk about the retina. So retina is the innermost layer. Retina is very important because there are many 開始讀呢一隻字啦 photoreceptors. So photo, that means related to light. Okay? Receptors, just like they are receiving something. 去收緊一啲嘢嘅 receiving. Okay? So another name for this photoreceptor is also known as the light-sensitive cells. So they are very sensitive to light. Okay? So photo means related to light. And receptor means they are just like receivers, 係接受者咁樣啦。Okay? So there are many nerve fibers, 有好多嘅神經嚇，神經線啦。And there are two types of photoreceptors. We are going to talk about them in detail later. But then there are two types. One of them is called the rod cells. The other one is called the cone cells because of their shape. Okay? So these three, number 1, number 3, and number 6, we're going to talk about this 3 together. And then we'll move back to point 2. This one is the cornea. So where can you find the cornea? At the very front, 好前邊嘅 okay? The front part of your eye. And this is a transparent layer. Transparent 咩意思啊？透明嘅 colorless. Okay? So it allows light to pass through. Why does it need to be colorless? Of course, 就容許啲光去入去隻眼啦。And then this one, this curved surface. 要留意一隻字 curve. Curve means 曲嘅 okay? 彎曲嘅 So it's not a straight, it is curved. Okay? It helps you refract and focus light onto the retina. Please remember this phrase. 成個記咗佢 Refract and focus. Okay? We must use these two verbs. Okay? 唔好嘗試用其他字。呢個係折射同埋聚焦或者唔係集中係咩意思啊？最靚聚焦啦，啲光 on the retina. Okay? So remember these two words, refract and focus. Okay? So last one, since it is transparent, you can see that there is no capillaries, okay? Otherwise, the light entering the eye will be reduced, if there are capillaries, okay? So where does it get nutrients? We're going to talk about that later. So it get nutrients from the aqueous humor, okay? Aqueous humor. That is from the anterior chamber. All right? Okay, and then the next part we're going to talk about is the iris. 下邊嘅位置啦 iris. So iris is, what is that? That is the choroid. It said that it is the continuous with choroid. What does it mean? That means, look at here. Where is the iris? Iris is this part, right? So it is actually a continuation, 係一個連續嘅 of the choroid. 黑色呢個啦 the black layer, right? Okay, so iris is this muscle. Okay, be careful. Iris is the muscle, not the same as the pupil. Okay, so do not mix them up. So iris, it is made up of muscle, as I said. So what is muscle for? What is the function of muscle? Oh, always remember these two verbs. One of them is contract, and the other one is relax. Okay, so this iris can contract and relax. Therefore, it can control the size of the pupil. 係控制咗 the size of pupil 啦。Therefore, when the pupil size is controlled or regulated, 係控制咗嘅 the amount of light entering the eye will also be regulated. Okay? And as you can see, usually we can see that there are different colors of the eyeball, and that is because of our iris, not the pupil. 再提多次，係 not the pupil. Alright, because iris has pigment. And this pigment will lead to humans having different colors of the eyeball. 得唔得? Alright, as you can see, so the blue and the green will have less pigments. The darker color, like gray, brown, or even close to black, like the Chinese, okay, it's very dark brown, we have more pigments. Okay? And then, moving on, we're going to talk about the pupil. Pupil is the hole in the middle, 喺中間有個窿啦, and this one is called the opening at the center, okay, of the iris. This opening will allow light to enter. Okay, so sometimes you can see that, as you can see from this two diagram, you can look carefully. The iris is, the pupil is very small here, but then the pupil is larger here, and there is a reason. That is because the iris is contracting or it is relaxing. 得唔得? The size is controlled by the iris. Okay. So that's all for these 2 pages, and I'm afraid we are a little bit overrunning for this video, but please keep up with me. Okay, the remaining part is easier relatively. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about the optic nerve. So optic nerve is just related to nerve, right? 同神經相關嘅. So where are they? So what is it? They are the nerve fibers, but grouped together. 係黐埋咗一嚿嘅. Therefore forming the optic nerve. So the optic nerve, we also need to remember these 3 words. We always say they transmit, 係傳遞. Okay, do not say transfer, transport, I don't know. Okay, don't use those words. We say transmit nerve fibers, okay, from the photoreceptors and then to the cerebrum of the brain. Okay, so try to remember these words first. Okay, cerebrum means 大腦啦. So the photoreceptor is just the receptor, right? So they are stimulated, 受到刺激啦. And therefore, they will transmit the nerve impulse, alright, they'll generate, 產生咗先. And then this nerve is transmitted through the optic nerve to the cerebrum. 就傳遞咗去到你嘅大腦度啦. Okay, and then the next part, yellow spots and blind spots. So yellow spot and blind spots, you can see that they're both on the retina. Okay, and one of them is in the center, 喺中間位嘅. That one is the yellow spots. Okay, again, talk about them in detail later. There will be a lot of cone cells, but no rod cells. Okay, and then there's a blind spot. Where is it? Optic nerve leaving the eyeball. There is a blind spot, and no cone cell, no rod cells, no photoreceptors. And then the next one, we're going to talk about the lens. Okay, so first of all, some adjective. First one, again, transparent, 透明嘅. And this one, very important, elastic. Please also help me write down the noun of this word, elasticity. Elastic, same, right? Ticity, just add ity. Okay, so that is the noun. Okay, and the next one is biconvex, as you can see here. So put down another word, the opposite of biconvex. I'll teach you this word later. The opposite is biconcave. Okay, so you can look at these 2 definitions first, and we'll talk about it in class. Okay, so it is biconvex. Please do not remember the Chinese. Okay, and the next one, again, this phrase. That's why it's very important. So both lens and the cornea are very important in carrying out this function. Okay, so what is the function? Refract and focus light onto the retina. Okay, so how can it do this? 點樣做得到㗎? By controlling the thickness. 控制佢嘅 thickness 啦. So how can the thickness be controlled? By the ciliary body. Okay, so the ciliary body, look at the diagram above first. So the ciliary body, as you can see here, this muscle, and then also the suspensory ligament, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and then the lens. So these 3 structures are totally connected together. Okay, so it is not related to the iris and pupil. Iris and pupil is one pair, and then lens, suspensory ligament, ciliary body, they are another pair. 得唔得？唔好撈亂啊。Okay, so the ciliary body will control the thickness. Therefore, the lens can refract and focus light onto the retina. 咁個 ciliary body, when will it react? 幾時會反應啊？俾個反應你啊？ When we see object at different distances. That means we have close distance and distant distance. Okay, close 同埋 distance 啊，即係代表一個近嘅距離啦 ，close distance， 或者一個 distant 或者一個 far 啦，係咪啊 ？Distance 即係代表好遠距離啦。Okay, and then we also know that this lens is made up of living cells, so it is still living. 佢只係 transparent, alright? But there is no nuclei. So I hope you still remember this word. It is the plural form of nucleus. So no nuclei, and there is also no capillaries. Here, there's a question asking you, why does it not have nuclei and no capillaries? So I've mentioned why no capillaries earlier, so you can think about it. Think about the function of this structure of the lens, 得唔得? Okay, the last part, we have to move it up again. So remember, how do we divide this aqueous humor and the vitreous humor? The aqueous humor, how is it divided? Exactly this line. Okay, so in front of the lens, they are all aqueous humor. Behind the lens, they are all vitreous humor. Okay, so this aqueous humor is very important. It provides nutrients and oxygen to the cornea and the lens as well. Okay, so do not mix it up. So as you can see, the last one about the lens is that they get nutrients and oxygen from the aqueous humor, not the vitreous humor. Okay, so earlier we've just talked about the suspensory ligament, the lens, and the ciliary body, right? Okay, so they are controlling the position and the thickness of the lens. 得唔得? Alright, so they are held in position. What does it mean by held in position? That means 係維持咗個位置嘅. Okay, by the suspensory ligaments. Okay, and these suspensory ligaments are connected to the ciliary body. So睇一睇啦, look at this diagram. So ciliary body is the muscle, and then between the lens and the ciliary body, are these lines. 呢啲嘅線係咩嚟㗎? They are the suspensory ligaments. But remember, for now, suspensory ligaments are not muscles. They cannot relax or contract. 搞清楚, okay? So relax and contract are only the ciliary body. Suspensory ligaments cannot. 得唔得? 記實佢, please write it down. Okay, so this ciliary body is just made of muscle, a ring of muscle. So these muscles, of course, is called the ciliary muscles. It controls the tension, okay, of the suspensory ligaments. We're going to talk more about this later, as you can see here. Okay, so by controlling the suspensory ligament, it can also control the thickness of the lens. Okay, finally, it's the last part. I'm sorry for this video, a bit long, okay? So this one is the last part, is about the two humors. One of them is the aqueous humor, the other one is the vitreous humor. Okay, so the aqueous humor belongs to the anterior chamber, and the vitreous humor belongs to the posterior chamber. Okay, and we're going to talk about them one by one. 好啦，首先 anterior chamber， 我講咗啦，係in the front 嘅，得唔得? So they're filled with aqueous humor, and how is it produced? 係由呢個 ciliary body produce 嘅。Okay, so what can you find inside there? Easy 啦，就 nutrients, oxygen 啦，講過啦。So providing to the cornea and the lens, 得唔得? And how did they get there? By diffusion. Okay, so always remember these process names. 另外啦，有個 posterior chamber. This posterior chamber, so what is inside? So as you can see, vitreous humor, and they are jelly-like, so they are thicker. For the aqueous humor, they are watery, 係好水性嘅. For the vitreous, they are more jelly-like. Okay? So both of them, this one also try to remember a bit because it is tested in MC. It can help you maintain the shape of the eyeball and also refracts the light onto the retina. So these two functions also very important. So by now, I hope that you can remember the three structures which helps refract the light onto the retina. The first one, of course, the two humors, right? 包括 aqueous humor 啦 vitreous humor. That is the first one. The second one should be the cornea. And the last one will be the lens. Okay? So that's all for this section. I'm sorry for the overrun. Please, we're going to do this dissection in class later. Okay? Please finish these questions yourself after watching the two videos, and I'll continue in the next part. Okay? So that's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.